Hey guys, I'm working on cleaning up the wiring in my battery shed today, and this is just something quick I thought was worth mentioning. I've seen a lot of posts over the past few months of people saying the connections on their PCM60X charge controller are getting hot. This is only charging at about 420 watts right now. I haven't had any problems with my connections getting hot, but as I'm going through and improving wiring, I certainly wanted to make sure my connections are done properly. One of the problems with this thin-stranded battery cable is when you put the lug down, the lug kind of pushes the strands away from the screw, and the screw ends up only holding down a few strands. You can also see that pretty good from the top, how all those strands are loose. So to fix this, I'm going to begin by shutting off both the battery and the PV input to the charge controller, and removing both of these terminals. So here you can see where the screw was pushing down on this cable, and how the screw is only making contact with a few strands. All these strands in here were just floating around. So I'll remove the negative as well. Now I removed the PV input leads as well. That's only because I want to put the black cover plate back on, and in order to do that I need to fish the PV input leads through the cover plate as well. So to fix this problem, I'm going to be using these larger 4-gauge ferrule tubes, and it's just pretty much a small tube that you slide down over the strands like this, and then I'm going to crimp it in, and what that's going to do is just hold all these strands together in a nice tight bundle to provide a better area for the screw to grasp onto. Now this is way too long. You'll see if I put this in, it's going to stick way above that terminal. So what I did was I actually took a small tool that you would use to cut copper pipe, and I cut them in half like this, so now one of those tubes gives me 2 terminal connections. And on the ferrule, one end is flared. That flare is just to help all the strands get in without getting caught on the edge. Just slide the ferrule on, make sure no strands got left out, looks good. And then my ratcheting crimp tool comes with these clamps. I think this yellow one is meant for like ring terminals or larger gauge splices, but it's going to work well for this as well. Insert the ferrule like so. And there's our crimp, nice and tight and ready to go. So we can slide that back under the screw ring terminal and tighten her down. That should give a much better connection, prevent those wires from pulling out, and they're all clamped down in there nicely. Going to repeat the same procedure with the positive. First, trimming the excess strands so they're the right length. Slide on the ferrule. Double check that all the strands are under the ferrule and there's none sticking out. And insert in the ratchet tool. Crimp it down. So back at the controller, I'm just going to fish it through. Under the lug. And there we go. Those connections are a lot better. There's a lot less resistance now, and they should not be heating up. You can see a view from the top as well. Now the wiring over here in the solar input, this is standard THHN house wire. And the strands are much thicker, so we don't necessarily have the same problem here as we have with the battery leads. But if you have some ferrules that fit this size wire, it wouldn't hurt to do those as well. So now that that's done and we've confirmed the tightness of all the screws, we can turn our battery back on. And we can also turn our PV back on. So like I said, nothing too special going on here, just thought that might help some of the people who are saying their connections are getting hot. If you found this helpful, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.